Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Bring Back Our Girls group asks federal government to take full charge of process for missing girls rescue after another abortive protest march to the presidency. Ekiti state government goes tough on herdsmen, signs anti-grazing bill into law, including terrorism charges for cattle rearers arrested with arms. Social media site Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg pays surprise visit to Nigeria, meets with business developers and entrepreneurs in Lagos. Terror bomb blast near Somalia's presidential palace kills 22 people in the capital, Mogadishu.
On business news tonight, the Central Bank of Nigeria licenses 11 international money transfer operators to ease pressure of forex supply.
And on sports news tonight, Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero charged with violent conduct for elbowing West Ham's Winston Reid in a Premier League match.
From Abuja, I'm Gloria Umezuike. The federal government signs memorandum of understanding with United Kingdom towards recovery and return of Nigeria's stolen assets stashed away in the UK and British overseas territories.
We begin tonight with the continuing call by members of the Bring Back Our Girls group, who are asking the federal government to take full charge of the process for the rescue of the girls and not allow terrorists dictate the pace. This comes against the backdrop of the president's decision to consider the option of Boko Haram prisoner swap for the girls. Before embarking on another botched protest march to the presidential villa with their mouths taped, leaders of the group told journalists in Abuja that they decided to seal their mouths in solidarity with the abducted girls who's remained unheard.
Recent development where President said that he is ready to do a prisoner swap and that Boko Haram can nominate an international NGO to where President said that he is ready to do a prisoner swap and that Boko Haram can nominate an international NGO to intermediate that. As far as we're concerned, that's not sufficient. What our president needs to do is to take this matter hands-on and to determine a lot of the steps toward any kind of closure on this matter. The reason is you can't leave this decision process to terrorists and then we react to them. No, we shouldn't be reacting to them. We should be determining a lot of things, whether it is military operation, whether it is negotiation, whether it is the combination of military operation and negotiation. We should be in the driver's seat of this.
It's not just about saying the words. There has to be, a sign of, meaning what you are saying, a sign of, wanting to act on it. What is it about saying that, the international terrorists should go and look for an international NGO? What does that mean? We are the ones that have daughters in their place. We are the ones that should be working so hard to ensure that our daughters are being brought back home. And we are the ones that should be looking at all the avenues possible to ensure that our daughters are being brought back home. It's like, a part of those politically correct statements that people make at gathering so that everything seems okay and we all move on. Because we've had a lot of such statements from our president. Unfortunately, action doesn't seem to follow the statements that the president makes.
The Niger Airforce says it has destroyed a Boko Haram camp in an airstrike in Borno State. Air Force spokesman Ayodele Famuyiwa said this in a statement on Tuesday. The latest operation is coming 10 days after the military announced that it killed 300 insurgents and wounded Abubakar Shekau, their leader, in an air raid on the Sambisa forest. Air Force spokesman said in a statement that the Nigerian Air Force during a night operation conducted yesterday successfully destroyed a new Boko Haram terrorist camp located between Malam Fatori and Kangarwa in northern Borno. Famuyiwa said that the air assault is expected to further degrade the capacity of the insurgents, while fostering ability for ground troops to operate. The Ekiti State Anti-grazing Bill has been signed into law. One of the highlights of the bill is the placing of terrorism charges on herdsmen arrested with arms. After signing the bill, the governor, Ayodele Fayose, gave an assurance that the relevant authorities will implement the law.
Shock and confusion ensued in the wake of attacks by suspected herdsmen in parts of Ekiti State, which left some people dead and others injured. This spurred the state government into passing a law to check such occurrences. In the presence of members of the State House of Assembly, as well as traditional chiefs, Governor Fayose signed the grazing bill into law. In the law, grazing time is restricted to the hours between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily, and anyone caught grazing on portions of land or any farmland not allotted by the government shall be apprehended and made to face the full wrath of the law.
It's a crucial bill that has become a law in Ekiti State that will regulate the activity of cattle rearer, the incessant killing of our people, and destruction of agricultural products across the state.
The new law also stipulates that anyone caught with firearms while grazing cattle will be charged with treason and his cattle confiscated. Governor Fayose, who says the move is necessary to give the residents a sense of security, also promises that offenders will no longer get away with their unlawful activities.
When there's no law, you can get away with it. But now there's law. We don't want to continue to lose our people to miscreants who claim to be herdsmen. This is our country, and Nigeria belongs to all of us. We have laws guiding us, and every state has their bylaws. We would want the federal government to equally support what we are doing and work in the overall interest of Nigeria.
According to the grazing law, the amount for farm produce destroyed by the herdsmen will be levied on the culprits. And cattle rearers who violate any of the laid down rules shall face 6 months imprisonment without option of fine.
Former militant Ateke Tom has asked for an extension of the federal government's amnesty program, which he was part of since its inception in 2010. He says this is one way the government can meet the needs of the people of the Niger Delta region and end attacks on oil installations. Our correspondent, Inni Thompson, reports.
This is a part of the 70,000 kilometers square which makes up the Niger Delta region. It lies in Okrika, local government area of Rivers State. A site which has now become common in the region is unmissable. Open fields which used to be rivers but only contain sludge-like substance and abandoned canoes.
When we are in school, precisely 1971, when I was in class 1 in Okrika Grammar School, we have been coming to this place to fetch water, to wash our clothes, and the whole place is very sandy, bright color, white color.
This is the result of about 240,000 barrels of crude oil spilled annually in the region, as estimated by the United States National Library of Medicine. The reaction to this damage has generated years of conflict, expressed in mostly violent actions, which the indigents prefer to call the struggle, a term which is easily connected to ex-militant Ateke Tom.
They used to steal in Okrika here. Woman cannot pass, they will rape you, they will do different kind of things in those days. So that's why I decided to fight them. I don't know what even came into my mind to fight them. And when I fight them, I succeed. From there, the police and me start to work and council, local government, then give the boys that are following me ID card like that, so by the time they know, we calm down the town. I did like this till now get into the struggle about the Niger Delta matter. And from there, amnesty came up.
There are others who have continued in the struggle, with the most recent identified as the Avengers. This group has claimed responsibility for several attacks. This activity has cost the nation about 5 billion naira a month, according to the NNPC, a loss which even some elders in the Niger Delta region say they are not happy about.
You see, destroying our oil facilities or federal government facilities around us, we are still encouraging more danger to ourselves.
The way forward, according to the indigents, is going back to the amnesty.
I want the government to take more people for training. And government should keep to their promise that they made for the former military heads and the boys.
It is important to note that the federal government's amnesty program was initiated in 2010 with a plan to last for 5 years, although there's been continuous clamoring for extension. Ini Thompson reporting for Channels Television News.
Ogun State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Dayo Adene, is confident that the ongoing fight against pipeline vandalism along the border towns of Ogun and Lagos states will be won. Mr. Adene says that both states are collaborating to ensure information gathering is smooth. He was speaking in our studios earlier today.
So Ogun and Lagos State are working very closely, and our security agencies from the police, the DSS, even the Army and the Navy have stepped in, and they've been collaborating in securing those riverine towns and areas. And we can see relatively it's been quiet now. We can only prepare so much because you don't know where these things are going to happen. But intelligence gathering has improved tremendously, and I can assure you that our security agencies are up to the task.
2 construction workers trapped in a 4-story building that collapsed in Gwarimpa Estate in Abuja have been found dead by rescue workers. This was revealed by the Director General of the Federal Capital Territory Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Abbas Idris. Meanwhile, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, during a visit to the site, told journalists that investigation has commenced to ascertain the cause of the collapse. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
We are finalizing our designs. We are seeing now all of the options that lie ahead. We are mindful that a substantial number of people are displaced in the northern part. So we're also
after an all-day evacuation of the debris, emergency officials discovered bodies of the 2 workers late in the evening Tuesday. The removal of the 2 bodies brings the massive rescue operation to an end. Earlier in the day, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, was at the site. He assured that investigation has commenced. He also gave likely reasons for the collapse.
But clearly something failed somewhere. Whether it was quality control, whether it was professionalism, whether it was negligence, we will wait for the results of the investigation.
For Timothy Otega and Timothy Beji, it was a close shave with death. The 2 construction workers were on the 2nd floor when the building collapsed.
When we entered, we just, because by then we haven't even slept, because we are talking by then. So the next thing we just hear ground.
Just call the guy where they work with her. Now he dey close with me. Call him, make she come out me. Tell me say she dead inside of the hall.
Emergency workers had walked around the clock hoping to get Timothy's colleagues alive.
Yes, we applied various technology. We have this live detectors, we have sound detectors, photographic, and even we use the dogs, the sniffer dogs. So we apply all, and we couldn't get any positive signal.
The corpses have been deposited at 2 hospitals in Abuja. Efforts to see the remaining victims, who are said to be receiving medical care at Gwarimpa General Hospital, failed as security officials prevented our crew from going into the hospital. Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, guess who is in town? Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg flies into Lagos, Nigeria unannounced. Meets with social media enthusiasts, business developers and entrepreneurs. That's in a moment. Stay with us.